Are goals something that just go up on the wall and we'll forget about? Or can they be really useful for classroom culture? Welcome back to the Lesson Lab, the show that equips teachers with time saving, grading strategies, and meaningful lessons that create a lasting impact on teachers and students in the classroom. We scaffold these lessons every week and we run each assignment through the gauntlet and reflection. The reflection is a 5 point checklist that ensures we're meeting our goals of saving time and creating impactful lessons. Our 5 reflection points are recapping the assignment, some student examples, good, the bad, the ugly, did we meet the goal or not, what would I change next time, if anything, and what's next. How are we scaffolding this assignment onto the next one? The assignment that we're reflecting on today is the class goals. I do class goals with every class, every semester, and they are co constructed, usually starting individually and then put into groups. And the whole point is to get 5 goals for the class by the end of the activity, which usually takes one day, one class period, 50 minutes or so, maybe a little bit of the next day, but usually just one class period. So I'm going to give you some of the kind of mainstays here as we look at our student examples. Professionalism is always on the list because people want to learn how to be more professional in the workplace. They want to learn how to speak more professionally. There's usually something like get better at speaking in interviews. So professionalism is typically a goal that is on the list in some form or fashion. It may be even dress more professionally because that's something that we do put a focus on in the class. And it's also just called professional communications. So it's only natural for students to want to be more professional. Another goal that shows up quite often is something that refers to confidence. So we have on here learn how to build up confidence. We also have speak confidently. And so sometimes I have to ask the question, what does that even mean? And we came up with loud and clear for one of the classes. So confidence is usually something that's going to show up quite often because, I mean, everybody wants to be confident, right? We all want to be a little bit more confident. Here we go. Be more confident in speaking my mind. So that confidence piece is something the students are very mindful of. And the hope is that this class would help them to get better in that area. So a couple of mainstays are definitely be more professional in some form or fashion and then speak more confidently. And I got those on most of the class goals that we put together. Now, one of my favorite class goals here was present visual aids well. Man, I cannot tell you how many times I have students that are just turned around looking at the board the entire time when they should be looking at their audience and they're presenting their aid, or rather they're just reading from it, and it's not going well. I say if we see your back more than we see your face, you're probably not going to get a good grade. So present visual aids well is something that I was happy to see when we came up with those. When we came up with those goals. Learn how to get better at preparing for assignments. Yes, that is a major W because that is going to help students in not just professional communications or speech class. That's going to help you be a better student in all classes across the board. So when you see something like learn how to get better at preparing for assignments, that says that they're trying to have the foresight to use whatever resources they have to be able to be ready when the time comes because it is definitely coming. Another one that I like that was That's something that I don't always get, but something that kids need to be more mindful of, or students rather. Be more engaging. Like, just be present in the conversation, be present in the presentation, and not just reading, not just hands down at your side, not just looking at the wall behind you, but really engage with your audience, really engage with your content, really learn how to digest it and then be able to give it back to your audience in a way that makes sense for them. And when we started doing these lessons, I talked about relevancy, making sure that the work was relevant to you and then also to the people that you're talking to, because that's how people stay tuned in, right? That's why I'm doing a whole podcast on being able to teach good lessons. So that relevancy piece pairs with be more engaging. Those were some of my favorite ones, and then also some mainstays. Learn to write a better resume. Resume is my least favorite thing to teach, but it is a very, very important piece to what we do. As a very brief aside, I will say my favorite goal that I've ever seen on one of these is have fun. Because I feel like if you're not having fun, like, what are we doing? Why are we here? I mean, to learn, but if we can't have fun in a class like this, then I think that that instructor is probably doing it wrong. So have fun. I wish was on every list, but I don't want to like make them put that on their list. But it would always be a nice conclusion if it could be on there any class. So did we meet our goal? Question 3 of our reflection. Definitely. We have 5 goals each class period. 100% met our goal. What would I change next time? I think that anytime I can put a timer on my students so that they can be mindful of time, have a sense of urgency about time when we're doing something, I think that's always something that's going to be helpful, because if we're not mindful of our time, typically we'll waste it, and teenagers more so. So having a timer, I've done that before. I just have to be more consistent about having a timer pretty much on everything that we do, so that they know, okay, hey, don't waste time. Very, very important that we get things done in a timely manner. So that's what I would change next time. I don't want to change any of the goals. I want that to really be something that they co-construct together as a class and come up with on their own. I don't want it to be from me. I'll help guide, but that's definitely something that I won't change. I'll always have them be the main driving force of what those goals look like. Last question on our reflection is, what's next? On the next episode, we'll talk about a presentation that I like to call All About Me or All About We. There's a few variations to it, but you'll have to check out next episode to get the details on that one. Before we get out of here, remember, you can get the resources from this episode and others on the Teachers Pay Teachers website. Just search Tony Ramble's Lesson Lab. I also run a Facebook group filled with fun, supportive teachers called Teacher Triumphs, where we help each other through classroom burnout, an epidemic that is sweeping really the world with how things are going. Let's keep the conversation going there. Share your resources and your thoughts on the Facebook group. Until next time, keep teaching, keep learning, and I will see you all on the next one.